Okay, good evening, Akshita. Chalo, I will quickly start the session because otherwise we'll get late. So it's a long chapter. So we are going to start brand management, basically strategic brand management. So you need to learn about brand, how does a brand behave and everything. What is brand management? So we'll start it immediately. So what is the brand? The brand elements and the brand versus products. We'll discuss about this. The key to creating a brand are able to choose a name, logo, symbol, package design, or other characteristics that identifies a product. So a name, a logo, a symbol, a design, a image, the font, the color, all contributes to making a brand. Okay. Distinguish it from other products, distinguish it from other products. So if a brand is the only entity which distinguishes, one product from the other, right? It's the only thing that differentiates from one product to the other, right? Components that identify and differentiate a brand are brand elements. So that's what one brand, one product to the other. When you differentiate it, the components that identify that help you differentiate two products or two brands are basically the brand elements. Okay. So brands versus product, the 5 levels of meaning of for a product are core benefit levels. So we have learned about this in our last class, right? The basic marketing management fundamental classes. So the core benefits of a product. Okay, then the generic product, the expected product level. Okay, the augmented product level and the potential product level. Right? You remember we showed it to you in a graphical format. The core product, and then we said it's then the generic product. And then the expected product by the consumer, then the augmented product by you. You have added something which the company, which the consumer doesn't expect. Okay, so the core product and the basic product, generic product is basically the basic product. We remember that we spoke about that hotel room. The core benefit is that you go and sleep and take a rest there, right? And then the basic product expected out of that hotel room is a bed, a bathroom, a table, the lights, the AC, and so on and so forth. And what is expected out of that basic product? Basically, a clean towel, a clean linen, a clean bathroom, the working AC, the working lights, okay, and the hygiene factor of the room. So those are basically expected by you, right, as a consumer, as a customer. And then what are augmented? Augmented is something which is beyond your expectation. Okay, so we spoke about, remember, if you go into a hotel and you get a welcome drink, you get, when you enter into a room, you get a basket of chocolates as a complimentary basket of chocolate or complimentary basket of fruits. That's augmented product. You did not expect it, is beyond your expectation. However, the customer is getting it, right? And then finally, that hotel also thinks about what can be the potential, value addition that I can do. Can I have a 24-hour swim service? Can I have a swimming pool? Can I have a gym in my hotel, which can be added to as a value addition to my customer, right? So that's a basic product. Right? And when you talk about a brand versus a product is anything we can offer to a market for attention, acquisition, user, consumption. Right? That might satisfy the needs or wants of a consumer. The basic marketing fundamental. Okay. A product satisfies the needs or wants of a consumer. Physical goods like cereal, tennis racket, or car, these are all physical. And then there are services also. Right? They are also products. A brand is more than a product since it can have dimensions that differentiate it from other products. Okay, so between two products, two cars, two tennis rackets, two brands, how can you differentiate between both of them? By a brand, by each one of it has a brand name, right? Each one of it has a brand logo, right? So the brand overall, the brand name, the brand logo, the brand font, the brand color, the brand symbol, these are all elements of the brand. Overall, the brand actually differentiates two products, right? Differences between a product and a brand may be rational and tangible, as we said. Okay, rational and tangible related to product performance of the brand. Okay, so if that brand is a tangible brand, it has rationality with it. or maybe more symbolic, emotional, and tangible related to what the brand represents. Okay, so it can be intangible also. It can be more of an emotion also, more of a symbolic also. Correct? Mostly when you talk about, suppose I talk about Air India as a brand. There is an emotion attached to it. It's intangible. We cannot touch that brand. Right? Air India as a brand, we cannot touch that brand. It's intangible. We cannot smell it. We cannot taste it. However, it's a brand. It's more emotional connect with us. Okay? Okay, related to the brand, related to what the brand represents. Okay, it represents the airline, the national airlines. Right? On the other hand, there are products which whose performance, there are brands which is related to a product performance. Simple product. Suppose you're buying a soap. There's a brand, so you say I use a Lux soap. Okay, or you're buying a Maggi. You say I use Maggi as a noodle. I eat Maggi as a noodle. So they're tangible. Okay, they are rational. They can be they are mostly physical, right? 10 firms rated highly in innovation: Apple, Netflix, Square, Tencent, Amazon, Patagonia, CVSL, Washington Post, Spotify, NBA. These are a couple of great brands, great brands who are very innovative brands actually. So why do brands matter to consumers and firms? So to consumers, functions provided by the brand to consumers. Identify the source of the maker of the product. Of course, when you know the brand, you can identify the source. You can identify the maker of the product. So if I buy a Tata car, or if I buy a car, I know who has made the car. It's a Ford or a Tata or a Mahindra who has made the car, the source of the car. Simplifies product decisions. When you know the brand name and you have made up your mind that I buy that brand, it helps you decide fast. Lowers the search cost for products internally and externally. Okay. So when you are already aware of the brand, your search cost becomes lower, right? You don't search too much. You know that this is the brand, so you go to the place where you get the brand. Okay. Helps set reasonable expectations about what consumers may not know about it. Okay. And of course, what they know about. So when you are aware of a brand, it helps you set a reasonable expectation from it. Okay. About what consumers may not know about. So suppose I go and buy a Louis Philippe shirt. The brand Louis Philippe itself tells me it's a very, very expensive shirt. Right? And it's a very, very high quality shirt. Right? It's a premium shirt. So there is a reasonable expectation. And also, it tells you that I may not know certain attributes of the brand. Okay. If I say that, okay, Mercedes is a very, very expensive brand. Okay. That's one part of it. However, you may not also know that Mercedes as a brand has many, many other qualities. Okay, so it helps you set up reasonable expectations. Okay, that I'm going to buy one of the best cars, one of the most expensive cars, one of the most premium cars. Okay, if you had not known about it. Correct? Brands can signal products, characteristics, and attributes. Okay, on the basis of the attributes, products can be classified as search tools, experience tools, preference tools. Okay, so attributes are basically features, advantages, benefits. So brands can actually can signal product characteristics. So just as I said, that if you talk about a premium product, you talk about Mercedes, you talk about BMW, you talk about Audi, these kind of cars. So you know what kind of characteristics or what kind of features advantages they have. Okay, so if you're searching for a expensive car, so you go and buy it. If you're searching for a very, very comfortable car, experience-wise, you go and search for them. Right? If you're searching for the credibility of the product, then of course you go and search for such credible brands, right? So when I talk about, suppose there is a mattress called Sleepwell, right? It's a very expensive premium mattress. It talks about comfort. So when you want a comfortable mattress, you know which brand to buy. Okay. Correct. So that's what, on the basis of the attributes, products can be classified as search goods, experience goods, preference goods. Okay. Brands can reduce risk in product decisions. This, so when you know that brand, when you know about Maggie. Suppose Maggie is a brand that you want to eat noodles. It reduces your risk of decision making. You know that it's a good brand. It comes from a good company, Nestle. Okay. So functionally, physically, financially, social, psychologically, and time-wise, it reduces your risk. But I know the product is going to perform well, functionally. Physically, the product is good. Financially, it's reasonably priced or is value for money. Socio-physiological, what is social physiological? Basically, is your image in the society. Okay, your image in yourself as well as in the society. Okay. So if you take care of that also. I am buying a Levi jeans. So you know that the society will tell, oh, it's a good brand, it's a good product that we're buying. And of course, time is going to take care of the risk of time. So risk of time means that you're spending huge amount of time to buy that product. It's going to reduce that risk also. Okay. Brands provide valuable functions to a firm. Consumers, we learned about this actually. Something like if consumers get some benefit out of it, firms also get some, companies also get some benefit out of brands. Okay, when you make a brand, brands provide valuable functions to firms, simplify product handling and risk. Okay. Of course. So when you are making 20 different products, each one have different brand names. It simplifies your handling. If they were not having same, if they were all having same brand name, it would be difficult, complicated for you to handle and trace them. So it helps you simplify product handling. Help organize inventory and accounting records. So of course, different products you're going to organize well. You're going to keep them separated in inventory in the warehouse. You're going to keep separate accounts for them to understand their profitability, their loss, their expenses, etc. Offer the firm legal protection for unique features or aspects of the product. So every brand, every product separately when they are brands, okay, when they are of different brands, you will know what each of the product has, which feature each of the product has, which advantages benefit each of the product has, the brand has. Right? It gives you legal protection also. Why? Because the brand name is usually registered. So nobody else can copy it. You have a copyright. You are registered. You have a trademark. Okay. Provide predictability and security of demand for the firm and create barriers of entry for competitors. Yes. So it also helps in calculating the demand, forecasting, and also creates a barrier of entry for the competitor. If you have a very, very strong brand which is loved by your consumer, competitors will think twice to enter that market. Because your brand preference is so high that to not allow somebody else to come in and the consumers to go and buy them. Right? Provide a powerful meaning to secure competitive advantage. A brand name itself provides you a competitive advantage. It creates a positioning in the mind of consumers, strong positioning in the mind of, we'll learn about positioning further. Okay. To secure competitive advantage. It will give you, that brand name itself will give you the competitive advantage. Okay. Roles that brand play, we have read about it. Okay. Brand value as a percentage of the market capitalization. So what is market capitalization? Market capitalization is the total value of all the shares that a company has in the market. Okay, all the equity that the company has in the market, the value of that, all the share is market capitalization. And the brand value is the value that is attributed to the brand. Is brand ka kya price? So you can see that Apple's brand value is 21% of the total market capitalization. Similarly, Samsung is 19%. Toyota is 27%. Mercedes is 60%. The brand value itself is 60% of the total value of the company in the market. Correct? IBM is 33%. So these are interesting data for you to remember. So brand value contributes a lot to the total valuation. Okay. So physical goods and services, can anything be a brand? Yes, everything can be a brand. To brand a product is necessary to teach consumers who the product is. Okay, giving it a name and using other brand elements to help it. What are the brand elements? The symbol, the image, the picture, the font, the color, everything. Okay. What the product does and why should consumers should care. Okay. So that's important. A brand actually communicates to the consumer that what the product will do. So when a company knows, when a consumer knows that Lux is a brand and Maggi is a brand, Okay, the consumer also knows what Lux does and what Maggi does. Lux is a beauty soap or Lux is a hygiene soap for you, hygiene product for you. Maggi is a food for you. Correct? Marketers must give consumers a label of the product and provide meaning for the product. Okay, so of course, so Lux provides a meaning to that product, right? It provides a label to the product and provides a meaning for the product, right? So marketers does it. Marketers must give the consumer a label for the product. So that label for the product is that meaning for the product. Okay, so Lux is a beauty soap. That's the meaning for the brand. Okay, Maggi is a noodles, instant noodles. That's the meaning of it. Okay, marketers can benefit from branding whenever consumers are in choice situation. Okay. So when a consumer has to choose between similar products, brand will help them to decide. Brand will help them to make that choice. Okay. Physical goods are what are traditionally associated with the brands. Mercedes-Benz, Nescafe, so many. Okay. Branding has been adopted by a variety of industries, industry business to business, product technology intensive, high-tech products, everything of course. Okay. Services branding is a service can be an effective way to signal to the consumer that a firm has designed a particular service offering that is special and reserved of its name. American Express, British Airways, Ritz-Carlton is a hotel, Merrill Lynch is an insurance company, Federal Express, FedEx is a logistics company. Okay. So these are all services and they all have been given a brand name. Retailers and distributors, for retailers and other channel members, brand provide important functions. Can generate consumer interest, patronage, and loyalty. Yes, so consumers can only be loyal when you have a brand name. Right? When you do not have a brand name, can you say that the consumer is loyal to this brand? No, you cannot say. Consumers' interest, patronage, their preference. It all happens because you have a brand. So the retailers benefit out of that, right? The distributors, the intermediaries, they benefit out of that because these brands provide important functions. They latch these products to the consumers. They help to latch the products to the consumers. Okay, to attach the product to the consumers, create an interest, create the preference, create the loyalty among consumers, create an image and establishing positioning within an industry. Okay, so it itself, the product, the brand itself creates the image of the product and establish a positioning. What is the positioning? The unique perception in the minds of consumers. Okay, brand creates that image. Brand creates that image. If you did not have a brand name, there won't be that positioning, there won't be that image. Yield higher price margins, increases sales volumes and greater profits. If you have a good brand name, okay, if your brand is regarded and respected highly, you can always get higher price margins. You can always get higher profit margins. Your sales will actually go up. You can gain more profits. Correct? Okay. Retailers and distributors, retailers can introduce their own brands by using the store name, creating new names, some combination of the two. The retailers themselves can make their products. Suppose like Big Bazaar, like DMart, like Reliance, they have their own private label products. They can give their own Reliance as a name, or they can create a new name. DMart has if you know this retailer called DMart, if you know this retailer called Amazon or Grofers or Big Basket, they have their own products. Big Basket has BB as a brand. Correct. Amazon also has their brands. So they can have their own store name, own retailer's name as a brand name, or can create new names for them. Okay. Many distributors, especially in Europe, have introduced their own brands. So that's called private labels. Distributors make their own brands and they distribute parallelly with other companies. Okay. Products bearing these store brands or private label brands offer another way for the retailers to increase customer loyalty, generate higher margins and profit. Private labels helps them, control the product in their own hand because they can communicate with the consumer, the customer directly. They do not have intermediaries to buy that brand or that product and sell to the consumers. So when they do not have intermediaries, they can earn higher margins and profits. They can create their own brand name and gain customer loyalty. Right? If they can make quality products which customers like, customer would prefer for a long time. They can create that customer loyalty. And so the biggest benefit is they can get higher margins and profits as well as control their interaction with the consumers. They can maintain a high level of customer relationship. Okay. Digital brands, some of the strongest brands in recent years have been Amazon, Google, Facebook, Twitter. These are all digital brands. Right? Brand building has become more important recently through online marketplace. It is critical to create unique aspects of the brand. Brand needs to perform satisfactorily as well. So digital, when you're making a digital brand, Amazon, Google, Facebook, it's much more difficult than having a physical brand. Because digital brand, people need to trust it remotely. Right? So you need to create those attributes, features, benefits, advantages, make it convenient for consumers, make it price-worthy for consumers, make it trustworthy for consumers. Because consumers are remotely buying your brand, right? Remotely interacting with your brand. They're not touching it, they're not physically seeing it. Okay, it's almost intangible. So it should be convenient for the consumers, it should be price-worthy for the consumers, it should be trustworthy for the consumers. Correct. So digital branding is quite a challenging job. Okay. People and organization. A product category can be a person or an organization. Amitabh Bachchan himself is a brand name. Shah Rukh Khan himself is a brand name. Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Sachin Tendulkar, they are all brands. Naming of brand is usually straightforward. Make a brand. Any person can become a brand. Usually is accompanied by well-defined images that are easily understood by consumers. So when you can interact with that consumer, interact with that brand. Okay. So a Mahendra Singh Dhoni or a Sachin Tendulkar or a Sourav Ganguly or Amitabh Bachchan or a Shah Rukh Khan, they actually interact with the consumers. They actually interact with the audience. Audience can relate with them. And that's the way they make themselves a brand. The key to a person or organization or brand is that people outside your industry know who you are and recognize your skills, talent, attitude. Okay. And that's very important. You need to make yourself, it's not necessary that only Amitabh Bachchan can make himself a brand. Or Shah Rukh Khan, or don't need to be a celebrity. You don't need to be a Fortune 500 company or an organization to be a brand. You can create your own brand name by showing your skills, talents to your audience so that they recognize you. Correct? And that's why you start creating. Today with the social media, you can actually do that much more easily. You can show to the world what are your skills, what are your talents, what are your attributes, your features, your advantages, your benefits. Why should people be around you? How do people relate to you? How do people connect? That's how you make yourself a brand. Sports, arts, entertainment, of course, we all know. Sports, arts, entertainment, they are all help you in making brands. A special case of marketing people and organization as brand existing sports, arts, and entertainment. Of course, sports. Sachin Tendulkar, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Messi, Ronaldo, they are all brands. Arts, of course. MF Hussain is a brand name. Correct. Entertainment. So the film industry, the music industry, these are all entertainment, art and entertainment. Sports marketing has become highly sophisticated now. Branding plays, for example, has become an especially valuable function in the art. In the theaters and all, a lot of things happen with branding. Movies have become famous for their marketing and branding. There are crores and millions and billions of rupees which has been spent on marketing these brands of movies. Right? They come and they go. Within 3 months, they come into the market and they vanish from the market. Still, you spend billions of rupees behind the marketing of these brands. You make them brand for a short period, but you spend a lot. For years, some of the most valuable movie franchises have featured recurring characteristics and ongoing stories, a classic application of branding. Remember the movie Titanic? Remember the movie Sholay? These are all iconic movies, iconic brands. Even today, they are watching the theaters. Think about Spider-Man. Okay. So many such great movies. Okay. Geographic location, what has contributed to the rise in place marketing? So, we all know tourism now. Tourism is doing havoc. Of course. Every country is, marketing tourism. Every country is making itself a brand. Every location is making it. Kerala, okay, and you have a tagline for Kerala, God's own country, Kashmir. You have Maldives. You have Thailand. Every location is trying to, you know, make itself a brand and be relate itself to the consumer, increase mobility for people, increase mobility for business, growth in tourism, cities, states, region, countries. Every state in India is now promoting itself as a tourism brand. Right? Even Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Kerala, West Bengal, everybody is trying to promote itself as a brand. Ideas and causes. Yes, numerous ideas and causes have been branded, especially by non-profit organizations. We have discussed about it. Maybe captured in the phrase or slogan operated by such as AIDS Ribbon. Yes. Okay, Swachh Bharat, and so on and so forth. We have discussed about this earlier. What are the strongest brands? Brands that are the strongest are the brands that are best known, most highly regarded. Maintaining brand relevance and differentiation are important to the success of it. Relevance to the consumer, relevant to the customers. Right? They should continue to maintain that relevance. Okay, and differentiation with some of the other brands. Okay, 25 most valuable global brands. Again, Apple comes in. Google, Microsoft, Coca-Cola, IBM, McDonald's, BMW, Disney, Toyota. Okay. 25 most valuable global brands: Intel, Cisco, Nike, Honda, Pepsi, H&M, IKEA. Branding challenges and opportunities: unparalleled access to information and new technologies. Okay. Yes, there is so much information around and so much of new technology around. And there's a huge competition in branding. Earlier it was only dependent on graphic designing of a brand. Today, the whole technology is helping actually, the whole information across in the net is helping actually to create brands. Downward pressure on prices. Okay. You have made a great brand, you have made Apple as a great brand. However, with the competition, there is always pressure on pricing. Ubiquitous connectivity and consumer backlash. Okay. So, very important, the world is so well connected today that at one corner of the world there is a consumer backlash. Okay, some consumer has put something against a brand. It's becoming a big challenge to maintain that brand preference. There's so much of you have seen so much of trolling happen, so much of complaints happening, so much of viral information is going against brands, right? Viral stories going against brands is a challenge. Sharing information on goods. Okay, so you are able to share information across. Okay, so earlier what used to happen? One country used to make a product, a brand, it would sell it itself in that country out there. It would give us information in that country itself. Today the world is so well connected that you can sell that good sitting at Japan, you can sell that good in US. Sitting at US, you can sell that good in Africa. And the information flows that fast. So competition has become very, very huge now among brands. Unexpected source of competition, as I said. Disintermediation and re-intermediation. Okay. So basically, what is intermediation? Okay. You are breaking intermediaries.
Competition is good for us, right? If हमारे को ज़्यादा competition then we have a lot of choices.
Of course, it's good for you. Only thing that's very challenging for a company, right? If a company supposed to be Apple is the top brand in the world on this earth for in information technology. And tomorrow competition is becoming fierce and fierce. For you and me as a consumer, we are getting better products because the more the competition, the better the quality. However, think about the pressure on Apple, the challenge on Apple. Right?
Yes.
So that's okay. Alternative source of information about product quality. Information about product quality. So now today you don't have to go to a retailer and find out the product, see a product, or check the quality. Today, sitting at your home, you can get information across the earth, across the world, about a product quality. You can see reviews, you can see, comments, and so much to evaluate a product quality. And winner takes all market. So today brands can be so big that they can actually go across the world and win over any competition. Okay. So something like, even as I said, Apple is Google, Apple, these are great examples. They have won the whole world. They have won the whole markets. Okay, competitors show minimum against them. Media transformation. Of course, you need to communicate your brand to your consumers, right? Media has changed a lot. Earlier, your communication would be radio, newspaper, outdoor hoardings, outdoor communication, or TV maximum. Today, think about so many ways you can communicate things. Digitally, you can communicate everywhere. So media has transformed a lot, and that's a big challenge. So the earlier small companies did not have a choice to communicate through ATL media because they did not have much money. Today, smaller companies with great products can communicate with the consumer across the world, in every corner of the world. So think when media is transforming. So media is transforming. Akshita does not have to wait for a big company to sell a car. Akshita can know about a great car which is selling in Japan, sitting in Noida or Varanasi, right? So media has made the whole world so small, whole earth so small and connected that they are creating a huge buzz in the brand market, right? The brands. कल के दिन में आपकी कंट्री में 2 ब्रांड थे कार के, Tata's and possibly Maruti. Today, all other brands across the world, they have come and started selling in India. Why? Because the earth has become so small. It's become so connected. The media has transformed. Right? The importance of customer centricity. So now, everything, you don't make a brand and you say that my customer will buy it. You have to make a brand according to your customer. You have to make a product according to your customer. So you need, sitting at US, you need to know what an Indian customer needs. And then you make a product and then you make that brand. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Unparalleled access to information and new technology, as I said. Technology has created a vast amount of information today. So you have everything and anything on a click of a button. Okay. So if you earlier, possibly 20 years back, you did not have so much information कि दूसरे country में और क्या product दिखते हैं. What is the best laptop in other countries? Possibly आपको अपने शहर में जितना मिल रहा था उसी से पूछते. Today, I want to buy a high-end Dell laptop. Even if it is not available in Varanasi, I can click a button and get it from US.
Yes, sir.
So technology has created vast amount of information. Over time, as technology becomes more standard, brand marketers may find more opportunity. So धीरे-धीरे technology will be more standard, today the technology is still evolving. Okay. When the technology will keep evolving, however, it will be more standardized. Okay. And marketers will find more opportunities utilizing innovative features in designing better brand experience for their customers. So they will be able to design more because technology, while it is evolving, they will give an opportunity to the market here to design better products for the customers. Correct. Downward pressure on price, we have discussed about here. Ubiquitous connectivity and consumer backlash. So as I said, backlash may come as consumers become increasingly resistant to marketers attempt to gain access to them. Okay. So today customers and consumers are very, very choosy, and they are very, very, their expectations are very high because they have so much choice around them. Okay. They know that if this brand doesn't give me, the other brand will give. So
Yes,
their
so
expectation.
initially customers, they did not have the choice. They used to, buy whatever
जो भी
thing was
मिलता था खरीद लेते थे.
available. Yes, sir.
Today they have a choice. So even if there is a
Even we have
small,
customized products now.
actually. So even if you have a smallest problem, smallest dissatisfaction, you give a good backlash to the company. आप उड़ा के गाली देते हो, आप सारा मीडिया में फैला देते हो, right? There are
Yes,
so
yes.
many stories. There are so many stories. Big brands getting backlash by consumers in one corner of the earth, and the rest of the world is boycotting. Software may come available that thwarts marketers' effort to reach consumers. Okay? आज के दिन में there are softwares where you can do social listening. सारा दुनिया में consumers मेरे बारे में क्या बोलते हैं,
Yes.
and that's where you as a marketer, your efforts will get diluted. अब जितना भी करो, you have to always be customer centric. Okay, and
Yes.
you will always have a restriction to reach consumers. आप जब तक बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट नहीं लाते हो, बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट क्वालिटी ऑफर नहीं करते हो, बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट प्राइस नहीं देते हो, बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट लॉजिस्टिक्स टू रीच द कंज्यूमर नहीं करते हो, बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट कम्युनिकेशन नहीं करते हो, consumers will not accept. Okay, and of course sharing information and goals, as we discussed. There is so much information around you in social media platform. While they offer a way for consumers to connect and communicate their preferences for goods or services, the platform faces increased scrutiny by regulators. So consumers can actually connect with companies and tell them what they prefer. Okay, and companies can actually use that information to customize their product or make product according to customers' needs, according to consumers' needs.
Yes.
Okay, however, there is a lot of scrutiny in the social media. आप आज के दिन पे mass communication कर नहीं सकते because there are regulatory agencies who will stop you from claiming bad things claiming unreal things in the social media. ठीक है, आप ऐसा नहीं, माने you cannot claim something which is not there in your product or in your brand. You cannot claim them in your media platform, because first of all, a consumer, consumers are also watching you. Okay, they are keeping a watch on you, as well as there are regulatory agencies who are keeping a watch on you, legal agencies who are keeping a watch on you. क्या आप कुछ गलत तो नहीं कर रहे, ठीक है? Many of the platforms have traditionally not had to obtain permissions for use of customer data. एक जमाने में सोशल मीडिया में उतना restrictions नहीं था, जैसे टीवी में, रेडियो में आप कुछ भी नहीं बोल सकते हो आज के दिन पे. धीरे धीरे आज सोशल मीडिया पे भी वही आ गया. Okay, there are a lot of restrictions. You cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot do surrogate advertisement, you cannot do advertisement of liquor and cigarettes, and so on and so forth. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And of course, with technology evolving more and more, okay, technology has offered two phenomena related to branding. One is peer-to-peer sharing. Ola, Uber, okay, there are so many. Okay. Airbnb, everybody, these are because of technology there, because of internet and web there, they have started gaining this peer-to-peer sharing has started gaining platform. आज से 10 साल पहले भी ओला नहीं था, 10 साल पहले भी ओयो नहीं था, Airbnb नहीं था, उबेर नहीं था, स्विगी नहीं था, जोमेटो नहीं था, लेकिन this peer-to-peer sharing has started happening with technology coming, and so big branding is happening there. Big branding is happening there. Okay, वहां पर people are making brands where they want consumers to prefer them. They are having a lot of fight there. Swiggy is fighting with Zomato, Airbnb is fighting with Oyo, and so on and so forth. Ola is fighting with Uber. There's a huge fight in that market also. Okay. Unexpected sources of competition, of course, increased competition, because as I said, the earth is becoming smaller and smaller because of connectivity. Okay. The digital world allows easier entry into the market. When Amazon Movies began offering streaming services, it faced competition from Netflix, Apple, iTunes. आज के दिन में think about so many OTT platforms. Within 3 years, the whole TV has been flooded with OTT platforms. Netflix, Zee, Amazon Prime, so many. Samsung का अपना OTT platform, Apple का अपना OTT platform. Yes. Competition has increased like anything for any and every and any category. Correct. Disintermediation and reintermediation. Oh, sorry. Reduction or elimination of intermediaries. ठीक है. पहले क्या था? आप एक प्रोडक्ट बनाए, मैंने एक साबुन बनाया, ठीक है, मेरा एक वेयर हाउस में डाला, वहां से डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर के पास गया या सुपर स्टॉकिस्ट के पास गया, वहां से स्टॉकिस्ट के पास गया, वहां से रिटेलर के पास गया, वहां से कंज्यूमर के पास गया। आज के दिन में कुछ मत करो, उस सोप को बनाओ और अमेज़न को दे दो, आपके कंज्यूमर तक पहुंच जाएगा। आपका स्टॉकिस्ट भी नहीं है, सुपर स्टॉकिस्ट भी नहीं है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर भी नहीं है, रिटेलर भी नहीं है, कोई नहीं। यू हैव एलिमिनेटेड सो मेनी इंटरमीडिएट्स। ठीक है।
Yes.
एंड हाउ कुड दिस हैपन? बिकॉज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांस। ठीक है। ट्रैवल इंडस्ट्री फॉर एग्जांपल has experienced significant decline in need of travel. आज के दिन में does your father go to a travel agent to buy tickets?
No, sir. We book online.
ऑनलाइन, राइट? ठीक है।
Yes.
आज आप बस के टिकट भी बुक करते हो ऑनलाइन। मैं मुंबई में लोकल ट्रेन का मंथली पास भी बुक करता हूँ ऑनलाइन।
Yes, sir. Even metro का भी सब
मेट्रो
कुछ
का
online.
ऑनलाइन है। यू डोंट हैव टू गो एंड स्टैंड इन अ क्यू इन द आपका टिकट काउंटर।
Yes,
ठीक है।
sir.
सो इंटरमीडिएट नाम का हट ही गया है, राइट? आज reintermediation, introduction of new intermediaries that perform some of the same function or have additional roles in the channel of distribution. Yelp, online consumer guides, consumerreport.com and influential bloggers. ठीक है। आज के दिन पे ऑनलाइन जो ब्लॉगर्स हैं, ठीक है, ऑनलाइन जो रिपोर्ट प्लेटफॉर्म्स है, ऑनलाइन सो मच ऑफ यू नो ऑनलाइन ट्रैवल पोर्टल्स है। आज ऑनलाइन स्विगी जोमैटो है। दे हैव बिकम योर न्यू सेट ऑफ इंटरमीडिएट्स, राइट?
Yes.
आज से 10 साल पहले आप घर पे बैठ के खाना ऑर्डर कर सकते थे जो 15 मिनट में घर पे आते थे। आज से 10 साल पहले आपकी मम्मी किराने में पैदल जाती थी, 4 बैग हाथ में लेके, एक में आटा, एक में गेहूं, एक में चावल, एक में साबुन, एक में तेल उठा के लाती। आज के दिन में सिट एट होम, टेक आउट एन ऐप, click there, put your orders, in half an hour's time it will be there. So there's a new set of intermediaries which have started coming in the market. Okay, of course, by virtue of more and more technology, correct? And all this is happening. There is a new brand of this intermediaries happening. They are all services, right? They are all services. They are not physical products. Lekin they are having a new Zomato, Swiggy, okay, online portals for travel booking and so on and so forth. There are so many intermediaries who are catering to the market. They are all brands, big. They are becoming slowly big brands. हाँ जी वैसा ही। हेलो, हाँ बोलिए। जी जी जी। हाँ, 2 years fully, 2 years fully. Yeah. हाँ. Sorry, can you hear me, Akshita?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so where were we? Yeah. So alternate source of information and product quality. Internet offers consumers new ways to learn about new product. Of course, आज अक्षिता घर पे बैठ के उसको कोई बुक खरीदना हो तो घर पे बैठ के देख लेती है कहाँ पर मिलेगा। इवन Amazon में बुक्स मिलता है आजकल। ठीक है। There are so many ऑनलाइन पोर्टल जहाँ पर बुक मिलता है, आपको कहीं जाने की जरूरत भी नहीं होगी। आज घर पे बैठ के अक्षिता डिग्री कोर्स कर सकती है।
Yes, sir.
घर पे बैठ के अक्षिता पीएचडी तक कर सकती है। घर पे बैठ के अक्षिता की बहन क्लास 7, 8, 9, 10, 4, 5, 3 सब पढ़ सकती है ना। This has
Yes.
reduced the reliance on brands as signals on quality. ठीक है, आज आपके पास इतना चॉइस है, because so much of information around you, you know, आप किसी एक ब्रांड पे रिलाई करके नहीं चलोगे. Your reliance on a single brand has become less and less. A single brand doesn't tell you that it's a great quality. ठीक है, आज
Yes.
देखो, if you are, I don't know whether 3-4 years back you realize or you could think कि बायजूस एक कंपनी आया था 4 साल से 5 साल पहले.
Yes.
उसने वो अकेले ही मार्केट में राज कर रहा था. ठीक है,
Yes.
आज के दिन में there are 20 other बायजूस in the market. आप टीवी खोलोगे, हर 30 मिनट में एक कोई और कंपनी दिखेगा जो बच्चों को पढ़ाने की बात कर रहा है.
Yes.
है ना? सो आज के दिन में चॉइस इज योर्स. यू नो कि एक ब्रांड पे रिलाई मैं नहीं करता हूं because that brand doesn't signal me quality. Brands now have to do more, how to be translator of trends, acting on information about changing customers' taste and desire almost instantaneously. So आज के दिन में customers' taste and desires and wants, they change very, very fast. And so what brands have to do is have to walk in pace with that change. ठीक है, आप जितनी मार्केट चेंज होगी, आपका ब्रांड अकॉर्डिंग टू उस ट्रेंड के साथ चलना पड़ेगा. आपके पास वो इंफॉर्मेशन पहले से होना चाहिए कि मार्केट में ट्रेंड क्या आ रहा है.
Yes.
And then you start making your brand, you work on that brand, you not only create that brand but create the attributes of that brand. उसका आज जैसे attributes
अभी जैसे ब्लॉकचेन का काफी ज्यादा हो गया है, तो अभी कितना ज्यादा, जैसे एआई जो था, अभी से 3 इयर्स पहले एआई बहुत ज्यादा हाइप में था, बट अभी थोड़ा नॉर्मल हो गया. वैसे
आप क्रिप्टो करेंसी देखो.
यस,
साल पहले क्रिप्टो करेंसी कोई जानता नहीं था. आज के दिन में आप सही तरह खोजोगे तो 100 कंपनीज हु आर सेलिंग क्रिप्टो करेंसीज. Yes. So that's how. So one of those companies who came first, he could identify the trend, and that brand created the market because उसके पास information था. And today the world is changing because information is so much available. Okay. And as I said, winner takes it all. A winner take all market is likely to permeate other industries and categories outside the sports and entertainment. So आप किसी भी industry में रहो, ठीक है, you can win the whole market if you are a great brand. Brands which are market leaders in categories are likely to be chosen at an even greater rate. अच्छा brand बन जाओ तो across the world you can be. Okay, you can be market leaders. Okay. Media transformation, we discussed about it. So from earlier ATL media, only TV, newspaper, radio, outdoor media. आज के दिन में social media, influencers, bloggers, so much of that, right?
Yes, sir.
Importance of customer centricity, of course, everything revolves around customer. आज के दिन भी वही है, and it's more important today because customers' preferences, their needs, their wants are changing very, very fast. So get into those review forums, get into those social media where there are reviews, there are comments, there are people commenting there, and so on and so forth. Okay, online word of mouth, listen to the social media. Social listening is supposed to be done, and understand how the whole market is changing. Okay, because brand equity can be vulnerable to destruction if products and services claims are not verified by actual experience. So, your claims should not be, something which is not there in your product. And second thing, you have to get your product verified, your claims verified by your consumers. So once you have put the product in the market, you are claiming that this is the best soap because it is a very light on this on your skin. It has milk in it, it has cream in it, and so on and so forth. If you're claiming it, your consumer should verify it. Your consumer should actually, verify, and they should say that yes, this product is the right one which they are claiming. And those reviews, those peer reviews, their word of mouth should spell about it. Okay, the consumer should actually give you that go ahead, that green signal that this product. आज पहले के दिन में ऐसा नहीं था. पहले के दिन में आपने प्रोडक्ट बनाया, मार्केट में देखिए, consumers were bound to buy it. धीरे-धीरे it's become a buyer's market today, and becoming more and more fierce buyer market. Okay, brand equity concept, principles of branding and brand equity. Differences in outcomes arise from the added value and output product. Okay, so differences in outcomes, differences, two products, okay, of the same category, the differences in outcomes only come with added values. One product should have an added value that the other. The added value can be created for a brand in many different ways. This brand equity provides a common denominator for interpreting marketing strategies and assessing the value of the brand. Okay, so brand equity, basically brand equity is brand preference. Okay, brand knowledge, brand consumer preference, brand's consumer knowledge, consumer's knowledge is all put together makes it brand equity. Okay, so it provides a common denominator for interpreting marketing strategies and assessing the value of the brand. So value of the brand depends on the brand equity. कितना prefer कर रहा है आपका consumer आपके product को, कितना knowledge है आपके consumer का आपके product पे, ठीक है? Okay, and so on and so forth. There are many different ways in which the value of a brand can be exploited to benefit the firm. Okay, strategy वो हम लोग next इस पे पढ़ेंगे, next chapter पे पढ़ेंगे brand equity. Strategy brand management, identifying and developing brand plans, designing and implementing brand marketing programs, measuring and interpreting brand performance, growing and sustaining brand. This is what brand management is all about. Brand तो आप बना दो, brand name डालना कौन सी बड़ी है, brand color डालना कौन सी बड़ी है, brand symbol डालना कौन सी बड़ी है, लेकिन उस brand को manage कैसे करोगे? How will you develop that brand plan? How will you design and implement that brand marketing program? How will you measure and implement the brand's performance? And how will you grow and sustain the brand's preference equity? That's called brand management. Okay? And strategic brand management process involves all these steps: identifying and developing the brand plans, designing and implementing the brand marketing programs, measuring and interpreting, and finally growing. So each one of them key concepts basically identifying is mental map. Okay. Mental map is basically how do you create your presence in the minds of consumers. Competitive frame of reference. उस ब्रांड का competitive frame of reference क्या है? आसपास में क्या दिखता है और competition क्या बोलता है? Okay. Point of parity and point of difference. What is the point? What is the similarity with another competitor and what is the difference with them? Core brand association, brand mantra. Core brand association is basically how does your brand relate to? Does Lux relate to food? No. Okay. So what is that core benefit that the brand relates? हम लोग ने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले पढ़ा था ना product का core benefit, then basic product and augmented product and expected product and augmented product and potential product. So the core benefit है, how does it relate to the brand? How does it associate to the brand? And finally the brand mantra, brand tagline क्या है? This is all identifying and developing the brand plan and then mixing and matching of the brand elements, आपका color, आपका font, आपका symbol, आपका logo, whatever. ठीक है? Marrying, mixing that, integrating brand marketing activities. So आप सारा जो marketing activity around that brand, starting from उसका product बनाना, उसका pricing, उसका distribution, उसका communication, everything. ठीक है? That's implementing the marketing program. And finally, leveraging secondary association. Okay, basically, आप उस ब्रांड को और किसके साथ एसोसिएट कर सकते हो, ठीक है? तो सपोज आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल ऑफ possibly I'll give you an example of Nescafe. Okay, Nescafe is normally a coffee. Okay, so we know Nescafe has instant coffee, Nescafe has a blended coffee, and so on and so forth. Today, Nescafe also has a milkshake. So that's the secondary association. From the primary association of a coffee to that brand, it has gone to a milkshake, and there are plenty of other brand secondary associations. Okay. Measuring and interpreting brand performance. Always remember, whatever you do in marketing, ultimately एक जगह आएगा जहाँ पर आपको आपका performance measure करना है. So brand value chain, brand audit, brand tracking, brand equity management. Okay, सब कुछ को measure करेंगे. ब्रांड का वैल्यू से शुरू करके ब्रांड का ऑडिट करेंगे, हम ब्रांड का ट्रैकिंग करेंगे, एंड देन ब्रांड इक्विटी उसका प्रेफरेंस, कंज्यूमर प्रेफरेंस क्या है, कंज्यूमर का नॉलेज क्या है, कंज्यूमर का अवेयरनेस क्या है मेरे ब्रांड के बारे में. ओके, दैट्स ऑल वी नीड टू measure also. Okay, and this all measurement can't happen by sitting at office. It will happen when you go to the consumer and ask him, how much do you prefer my product, how much are you aware of my how much do you prefer my brand, how much are you aware of my brand name, and so on and so forth. Okay. Growing and sustaining brand equity, the last one. So brand architecture, brand portfolio and hierarchy, brand expansion strategies, brand reinforcement and revitalization. So brand architecture, okay, वो brand दिखेगा कैसा है, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम उसका लोगो से शुरू करके, कलर से शुरू करके, सिंबल से शुरू करके, उसका पैकेजिंग तक वो दिखेगा कैसे, उसका आर्किटेक्चर, उसका कलर क्या क्या होगा, ओके, एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ, व्हाट विल बी द डिजाइन, ओके। ब्रांड पोर्टफोलियोज एंड हायर, कि उस ब्रांड के अंदर में कौन कौन से प्रोडक्ट रहेंगे, फैमिली प्रोडक्ट क्या रहेगा, उसका उसका सिबलिंग्स क्या रहेगा, एंड उसका चाइल्ड प्रोडक्ट क्या रहेगा। ब्रांड एक्सपेंशन स्ट्रेटजीज, मैंने मैगी नूडल्स लॉन्च किया था, मैगी नूडल्स में सिर्फ मैगी नूडल्स मसाला लॉन्च किया था 1983 में। उसके बाद मेरा पूरा एक ब्रांड नूडल्स का पोर्टफोलियो बन गया, मैगी नूडल्स मसाला, चिकन, दिस दैट 10 बना दिया। उसके बाद मैंने उसके हायरार्कीज भी बना लिए कि सिर्फ मैगी नूडल्स से नहीं, उसके मैंने सॉसेस निकाल दिए, क्यूब निकाल दिए, सूप निकाल दिए। देन आई स्टार्टेड एक्सपैंडिंग द ब्रांड आल्सो।
तो सर बेसिकली इसका मेन गोल यही होता है कि if हम कोई पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट की बात करें तो उससे रिलेटेड जो भी हमारे दिमाग में चीजें आती हैं उसको प्रिपेयर करने की, या जो
या
भी
ऑफ
उसके
कोर्स,
एंड एंड तक, तो वो सब कुछ वो एक ही ब्रांड टेक ओवर कर लेता है वो सारी
हाँ
चीजें।
एग्जैक्टली, डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ यू आर, व्हाट्स योर ब्रांड हायरार्की और ब्रांड आर्किटेक्चर। मेरा फैमिली ब्रांड, अम्ब्रेला ब्रांड क्या है, उसके
जैसे
नीचे
सर
क्या क्या।
कोलगेट ने अपना टूथपेस्ट भी बनाया, उसके बाद उन्होंने ब्रशेस भी, टूथ ब्रशेस निकाले, फिर
एक चीज
उन्होंने
देखो,
अपना
कोलगेट ने
माउथ।
टूथब्रश, टूथपेस्ट एक्सेट्रा सब निकाले, एनीथिंग टू डू विद ओरल केयर।
यस सर, वही।
डिड दे कम अप विद कोलगेट सोप?
नो सर।
No. Did they come up with Colgate noodles? No.
नो।
Right.
यस।
So the brand architecture talks about all that. मैं कहाँ पर जाऊंगा? What will I revolve around? मेरे क्या क्या और प्रोडक्ट्स बनेंगे? इस प्रोडक्ट में एक फैमिली स्ट्रक्चर कैसा होगा? मेरा मेरा मदर एंड फादर, माय फैमिली, फैमिली ब्रांड क्या होगा? उसके अम्ब्रेला ब्रांड बोलते हैं। उसके अंडर में मेरा सिबलिंग, उसके साथ 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 मेरे सिबलिंग्स, मेरे ब्रदर एंड सिस्टर कौन कौन होगा? उसके अंडर
यस
में
सर।
मेरा चाइल्ड ब्रांड्स क्या क्या होंगे? ठीक है। So this is how I expand brands also. What is my expansion strategy? ठीक है. So this is an interesting study. Go to the internet and find out the different brands and their different products and their different categories that they have launched. Okay. And finally, brand reinforcement and revitalization. We keep changing the message around the brand. We keep revitalizing it, keep re-energizing the brand, keep repositioning the brand, so that it stays on this earth for a long, long, long time, fighting competition and gathering new consumers around it. Okay? Designing and implementing brand programs, choosing brand elements, integrating the brand into marketing activities, and supporting marketing program, leveraging secondary associations, all this same thing. Okay? Growing and sustaining brand equity. Okay. So go and take a 10 minutes break and come back. Okay. We'll start the second chapter. Okay.
ओके। ओके।
अब अभी तक जो 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 मैंने पढ़ाया, अंडरस्टूड? Clear?
यस सर, यस सर,
Okay,
यस
sure, great.
सर।
Go and take a 10 minutes break. Come back at 2:30. Okay, maybe 2:10, 20:10. Okay.
ओके सर।
Okay, so we'll start the next chapter on customer-based brand equity and brand positioning. So, defining customer-based brand equity approaches brand equity from the perspective of consumers. Okay, so basically, brand equity is always from the perspective of consumers. Okay, what consumers think about your brand, what consumers know about your brand, how consumers prefer your brand. Stresses that the power of a brand lies in what resides in the minds and heart of customers. Okay, so what does a brand, how does a brand, you know, lie in your minds? How does a brand represent itself in your mind and heart? That's what is brand equity. Differential effect that brand knowledge has on consumers' response to marketing of that brand. Okay, so basically, if there was no brand, no effect of the marketing of the brand, okay, then what would have happened to the brand? And if there is an effect on the marketing of the brand, there is the communication of the brand, or the packaging of the brand, or the distribution or the pricing of the brand. Okay, what difference does that create? That is what is brand equity. How does that affect the brand? That is what is brand equity. Okay. So the effect of marketing on that brand knowledge, on the brand knowledge, basically what has the consumer gained? What knowledge has the consumer gained from that marketing of the brand? That pricing, that packaging, that communication, that distribution is what is brand. Okay. So marketing advantage of strong brands: improved perception of product performance, greater loyalty. We have learned all. Less vulnerability to competitive marketing actions, less vulnerability to marketing prices. Okay, larger margins and so on and so forth. Right? Brand equity as a bridge. Customers' knowledge drives the differences that manifest themselves in terms of brand. Okay, how much customer knows about your brand? The more the customer knows about their brand, the more the customer will prefer your brand. The more the customer will differentiate your brand from your competitor. The more the customer will, love the brand, desire the brand. Okay. Provides marketers with a vital strategic bridge from their past to their future. All marketers would like the brand to change its status from today to tomorrow, right? From today, from the past to the future. Okay, there has to be a change in the status, and brand equity helps that. Okay, brand equity creates that bridge from the past to the future. That preference of the customer, that knowledge of the customer, that loyalty of the customer, that awareness of the customer about your brand, that is the bridge between the past and the future. The more the customer prefers, the more the customer knows, the more the customer is loyal about your brand, the more the customer is aware of your brand, that creates the bridge between the past and the future. Okay? The brand knowledge that the marketer creates over time dictates appropriate and inappropriate future directions of the brand. So all your marketing activities that you do, your communication, your distribution, your pricing, your packaging, everything creates a preference on the mind of the consumer, gives knowledge to the consumers, and all this knowledge actually differentiates between today and tomorrow.
Yes, so there is this company, sir, My Glam company. So उन्होंने इतना ज़्यादा प्रमोशन किया, इतनी ज़्यादा मार्केटिंग, अभी 3 months पहले तक सर कोई नहीं जानता था, और उन्होंने सर्वेस किए. उनका ये था कि सर्वे करने के बाद आपको फ्री प्रोडक्ट मिलेगा उनकी ही वेबसाइट, और अभी सबको पसंद आ गया क्योंकि उनके प्राइसेस ज़्यादा हाई नहीं है, तो अब सबको आदत हो गई है. इवन मेरे घर पे भी मम्मा भी शी इज ऑर्डरिंग. So
I know.
Very smart move.
So the thing is that it's not only kitni baar dikha rahe ho, kitna dikha rahe ho, intensity, also what kind of a communication you're doing. Does that communication really communicate to the consumer the benefits of the product, the advantages of the product, the goodness of the product, the right features of the product, the appropriateness of the product? Okay. So the more appropriate that communication is, the more appropriate that market is. Okay. Marketing is. It decides on the future direction of the brand, whether the brand will really click, whether the brand will really start selling well. Just
Yes.
So because your mother has great knowledge about the brand, which the marketers have created over time, ठीक है, आज 3 महीने से जो नॉलेज क्रिएट कर रहा है अपने मदर से, अपने मदर के ऊपर, मदर पे, ठीक है, and that over time dictates appropriate number. So that decides the future, that decides the future of the brand, right?
Yes.
Correct? That decides the fortune of the brand. How will the brand survive in this? Right? Making a brand strong, brand knowledge from the perspective of the CBBE concept, brand knowledge is the key to creating brand equity. Okay, so just yeah. So yeah, making a brand strong, brand knowledge. So from the perspective of the CBB concept, brand knowledge is the key to creating brand equity. Basically, CBB is consumer-based brand equity. Okay? It creates a differential effect that drives the brand equity. Okay? So consumer-based brand equity concept, okay, is basically brand knowledge is the key to creating brand equity. जितना आपके पास knowledge होगा किसी brand के बारे में, ठीक है, you will decide on whether I will prefer the brand, whether I love the brand, whether I will be loyal to the brand. Okay, and that creates the differential effect of the brand equity. That drives brand equity. अगर आपका उसका knowledge बहुत ज़्यादा है और आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं, this brand is not good for me, you will not prefer that brand. The brand will not have a right equity, right? It will not drive equity. Okay, so that consumer-based brand equity concept is very, very important because that creates the knowledge. That brand knowledge is key to your creating brand equity. Marketers need an insightful way to represent how brand knowledge exists in consumer memory. So how much brand knowledge about Lux or Mamaearth or whatever product is there in your memory, in Akshita's memory, in Aditi's memory. Okay, marketers need an insightful way to represent that. Okay. So they need to create that memory in it. Okay, yes. They need to create that memory in your brain, your mother's brain, your father's brain, so that you start becoming, you start preferring that brand. You start being aware of that brand. You start liking that brand. And start desiring that brand and be loyal to that brand. Okay. Making a brand strong, brand knowledge, associated network memory model use memory as a network of nodes and connectivities. If you see brain, okay, there are a lot of threads called neurons. Okay, and they are connected. One thread is connected to the other through nodes. These are called network of nodes and connecting links. Nodes represent stored information or concepts. Okay, these nodes actually keep your memory. And links represents the strength of association between the nodes. Kitna strong aapka memory hoga, links actually say about that. They represent that. One memory, one node, one neuron and the other neuron, when connected to become the node, that node का जो link है, ठीक है, that tells कि कितना strong है. कितने सारे links उस node में हैं, okay, that says how strong is the memory. Brand associations are informational nodes linked to the brand node. So all the information का neuron एक जगह पे आपको जब meet होता है, that's called the brand node. एक ब्रांड, आपका ब्रांड का सारा इंफॉर्मेशन, सारा एसोसिएशन इंफॉर्मेशन जो कलेक्ट होके जहां पर आते हैं, that's called the brand node. And the stronger that is, that will create a more stronger memory. Okay. Brand knowledge has two components: brand awareness related to the strength of the brand node or space in the memory. आपका brand node कितना strong होगा, आपका awareness इतना ज़्यादा होगा उस brand के बारे में. Often a step in building brand equity often come into play. Brand image, second thing is brand image. Consumers' perception about a brand as reflected by the brand association held in consumer memory. So we'll come to this in details in one or two more slides. Okay. So brand awareness is आप कितना उस brand को याद रखते हो. How much you know about that brand, how much you remember that brand. And brand image is what is your perception? खराब है, बुरा है, अच्छा है, क्या है? That's the perception about it.
तो कुछ चीजें तो ब्रांड इमेज के चक्कर में बिकती हैं, कितनी सारी.
लेकिन वो ब्रांड इमेज तभी स्ट्रांग होगा जब आपका अवेयरनेस होगा ना.
यस सर, इन मतलब उन्होंने इनिशियली ऐसा इमेज बना दिया होता है कि अगर वो नेक्स्ट टाइम पे भी कुछ निकालते हैं तो
नहीं,
वो उनका
उल्टा पहले अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करते हैं, फिर वो इमेज बन जाता है। एक बार इमेज अगर अच्छा बन गया, then it stays
यस
there for a longer time. ठीक है? Now look at this possible association with the Apple brand name. When you think about Apple, out of these 10 or 12 attributes, okay, आपको कुछ ना कुछ एसोसिएट, आपके साथ कुछ ना कुछ एसोसिएट होगा। It's user friendly, it's expensive, apps are unique, iTunes है उसमें, iPod है उसमें, stylish है, creative है, cool है, Apple logo is very creative, is very attractive, innovative है, user friendly है, iPhone है. Some of these attributes would be there in your memory. That
Yes.
ultimately creates that brand image, that perception about it. Correct? Got it? Make sense? Can you associate this with your
Yes sir.
thought now?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
कि ये
Yes sir,
सब
I can.
इसमें से कुछ ना कुछ आपके मेमोरी में इतना स्ट्रांग है कि वहां से आपका इमेज बन रहा है एप्पल के बारे में। ओके, सो ब्रांड अवेयरनेस consists of brand recognition and brand recall performance. Brand recognition, consumers' ability to confirm prior exposure to the brand when given the brand as a cue. आपको अचानक, मैंने कुछ नहीं किया, आपको सामने बिठाया और एक फ्लैश किया, एक कार्ड आपके सामने जिसपे एप्पल का वो कटा हुआ एप्पल है, या तो नाइकी का वो जो राइट का जो सिंबल है वो है, फ्लैश फॉर अ स्प्लिट ऑफ अ सेकंड दिखा के निकाल दिया। हाउ मच यू रिमेंबर द ब्रांड डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ फास्ट यू कैन रिकलेक्ट। ठीक है, सो दैट्स ब्रांड रिकॉग्निशन। आप कितनी जल्दी उसको रिकॉग्नाइज कर रहे हैं। आपको मैं 10 कंटिन्यूअस 10 ब्रांड लोगोस दिखाते जाऊंगा और आप एक के बाद एक विद इन अ स्प्लिट ऑफ अ सेकंड बोलते जाओ। The more you can say is that more you can recognize it. And finally, brand recall, consumers' ability to retrieve the brand from memory when given. The product category, the need fulfilled. So एक brand दिखाया, आपको immediately बोलना है कि वो brand किसका है। Nike shoes है, Apple phones है, Apple MacBook है, Apple iMac है, Apple iPods है, Maggie noodles है, Maggie sauces है, Maggie cubes है. How much do you recall about that brand? Okay, so that recalling that brand is retrieving that memory from your brand notes. आपके ब्रांड नोट्स में वो मेमोरी बसे हुए हैं ना, कभी ना कभी उसके साथ एसोसिएट किए थे आपने आपको। वो मेमोरी अगर स्ट्रांग है, वो नोट्स अगर स्ट्रांग है, उसके लिंक्स अगर स्ट्रांग है, तो देन यू विल रिकॉल द ब्रांड वेरी फास्ट। रिमेंबर? ओके, कैन यू एसोसिएट इट नाउ?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Advantages of brand awareness: learning advantage, consideration advantage, choice advantage. Okay, so when I expose you to a brand and you are aware of that brand, how did you get aware? Because you have learned about that brand. With the awareness comes learning. With the awareness is more knowledge, right? Awareness होता है तो ज्यादा knowledge होती है। जितनी ज्यादा awareness होती है, उतनी knowledge होती है। And जितनी knowledge होती है, वहां पर आपका ये stage आ गया। Remember, we spoke about 8 stages: awareness, interest, consideration, trial, repurchase, loyalty, and advocacy. करेक्ट। सो वो जो अवेयरनेस स्टेज है, जहां पर आप नॉलेज ले रहे हो, आपको आप एक प्रोडक्ट की जानकारी मिल रही है आपको, वहां जितना स्ट्रांग होगा, देन यू विल स्टार्ट डिसाइडिंग वेदर विल कंसीडर दिस प्रोडक्ट और नॉट। दैट कंसीडरेशन एडवांटेज कम्स फॉर यू। वंस यू हैव कंसीडर्ड इट, देन वेदर आई विल चूज टू बाय दिस ब्रांड और नॉट। चॉइस एडवांटेज, कंज्यूमर परचेज मोटिव, आपके अंदर में वो मोटिवेशन आया कि नहीं, आपके पास एबिलिटी है कि नहीं खरीदने की। Do you see a purchase opportunity there? Okay, that all comes after that consideration. So awareness and interest, consideration, then you choose. You have an interest and you start thinking whether I will choose to buy it, because I have got do I have the motivation to buy it now? Do I have the ability and affordability to buy it now? Do I see an opportunity to buy? मुझे Apple phone की awareness है। Okay, I have got a huge knowledge about, with the awareness comes a lot of learning and knowledge about Apple phone. Then when I think about buying a phone, I consider buying an Apple phone. However, when it actually comes to trial, then there's a question of choice. Okay, that choice, whether I can purchase it, whether I'm motivated to purchase it. I don't have an iPhone. I don't have an iPhone. I want to buy a mobile. Do I purchase it that time? That's my choice. Okay. Do I have the ability to purchase it? Do I have the affordability to purchase it? Do I have an opportunity to purchase? Yes, I have an opportunity. I don't have a mobile. I need a mobile, so I have an opportunity. Do I have an affordability? Do I have the motivation? All comes from that brand awareness. Okay. जितना आप ज्यादा जानोगे इसके बारे में, जितना aware होगे, how the stronger your nodes, memory nodes are, all these advantages start flowing in. Okay. Brand awareness, anything that causes consumers to experience one of the brand's elements can increase familiarity and awareness of the brand elements. So what are the brand elements? मेरा symbol, मेरा logo, मेरा color, मेरा font, मेरा etc 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 जो भी है उस brand को देखने से आपको जो भी दिखता है, ठीक है, एप्पल का ब्रांड को देखने से एक एप्पल का इमेज दिखता है जिसमें कटा हुआ है,
yes,
ठीक है, so that is an element, that image is an element. So anything that causes the consumer to experience one of the brand elements, so that one brand element you have experienced, and that creates a familiarity and awareness of the brand. That name, symbol, logo, character, packaging, slogan, including advertising and promotion, sponsorship, event marketing, everything. किसी न किसी एक एलिमेंट के साथ आप उस ब्रांड के साथ एसोसिएटेड जो भी एलिमेंट्स है उसके साथ आप फेमिलियर हो रहे हैं, and that creates awareness. Okay. Reputation increases recognizing. This is something very important. आपको एक बार मैंने दिखा दिया, it doesn't mean that you will remember or recall it for the rest of your life or your memory will be that strong. Reputation increases recognizability. That's why you see so many advertisements continuously on TV of the same product or the same brand in a span of half an hour or 15 minutes का या 45 मिनट 40 मिनट का एक सीरियल में या आधा घंटे के एक सीरियल में 10 बार आपको सेम ब्रांड दिखाया जाता है. Because reputation increases recognizability.
yes,
But improving brand recall also requires linkage in memory to product aspects. So जितना ज़्यादा आपको मैं उसको expose करूँगा आपको उस brand के साथ, आपका brand recall बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि वो जो linkages है, memory linkages, the nodes है, जहाँ पर सारे elements आके जुड़ रहे हैं, सारे elements के links आके जुड़ रहे हैं वो node पे. Okay, that node is that brand node, and वो जितना strong होगा आपका brand recall उतना strong होगा. Correct? Got it? Brand image. Once a sufficient level of brand awareness is created, marketers can put more emphasis on crafting a brand image. Creating a positive brand image takes marketing program that links strong, favorable, and unique association to the product brand image. Okay? And brand association may be either brand attributes or benefits. So, एक ब्रांड को जैसे आप अवेयर हो गए, उसके कोई भी एक एलिमेंट के साथ फेमिलियर हो गया, it has become a very strong, it has made a very strong node through those links. आपके मेमोरी में एकदम ये हो गया, वो बैठ गया, ठीक है. Then what you need to do is you need to associate that memory with the brand attributes, brands के अच्छे features, अच्छे advantages, अच्छे benefits जो है उसके साथ associate करो, and you start crafting an image. कि जैसे ही Apple देखा मैंने, so always I will associate Apple with the great applications in Apple or iTunes in Apple or something great in Apple.
yes, sir.
And that creates that brand image for me. The style of Apple phones, iPhones, that cuteness of an earpod, that is what your आपका जो memory है, it starts associating with that product. And that creates that brand image. आपने brand elements का aware हो गए कि वो Apple का जो image है, that is the element I am associating myself with. Now मेरे memory में वो element गद गया कि Apple as a brand, उसका वो Apple का जो image है, that's the brand image. That's the awareness I have. Now how do I convert that awareness into a great brand image? I associate Apple phone का जो iTunes है, या तो Apple earpods है, something great of that product, that brand, I associate it, and that creates the strong, favorable, and unique association to the brand. That's what is brand image.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Strength of brand association. More deeply a person thinks about product information and relates it to the existing brand knowledge, stronger is the resulting brand association. तो आप जितना ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर करोगे आपका नॉलेज बढ़ेगा। ओके, सो जितना ज्यादा ब्रांड इक्विटी आपका बढ़ेगा, आपका नॉलेज बढ़ेगा, उतना आप उसके साथ, उस ब्रांड एलिमेंट्स के साथ आपका नॉलेज को एसोसिएट करोगे। ओके, एंड स्ट्रॉन्गर इज द रिजल्टिंग ब्रांड एसोसिएशन। आपका ब्रांड एसोसिएशन स्ट्रॉन्ग होगा विद दैट ब्रांड एलिमेंट। ओके, ब्रांड ब्रांड अवेयरनेस का जो एलिमेंट है उसके साथ स्ट्रॉन्ग होगा। Favorability of the brand association is higher when a brand possesses relevant attributes and benefits that satisfy consumer needs and wants. So first thing is वो ब्रांडिंग का जो एलिमेंट है, वो जो एप्पल का जो इमेज है, कटा हुआ एप्पल, उसको आप किसके साथ एसोसिएट कर रहे हो? आपका जो नॉलेज है, जितना डीप नॉलेज होगा यू कैन एसोसिएट दैट विद द ब्रांड, करेक्ट? एंड देन फेवरेबल कब होगा? जब उसके रेलिवेंट एट्रीब्यूट्स एंड बेनिफिट्स सेटिस्फाई योर नीड्स एंड वांट्स। कि आपको एक स्टाइलिश फोन जरूरत है, okay, I learned about Apple so much. It's so stylish and so convenient and it's so user friendly. Okay, so these are great attributes. Yes. It makes me favorable, that brand favorable to me, because that satisfies my need of ego, that satisfies my need of convenience, that satisfies my need of psychological need, that I can have prestige in the society. ये सारे आपके needs है ना, needs and wants है. So you have started associating the brand with that आपका needs and wants, associating the attributes, the features and benefits and advantages of the brand with your needs and wants, and it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. Your brand image becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And of course, uniqueness of the brand association, यूनिक सेलिंग प्रोपोजिशन, उस ब्रांड का यूनिक सेलिंग प्रोपोजिशन, जो यूनिकनेस है, जो किसी और ब्रांड में नहीं है, provides brand with sustainable competitive advantage. So firstly, आपका strong knowledge about the brand. Secondly, that brand's attributes and benefits are satisfy your needs and wants. And lastly, the uniqueness of the brand against competition. This all together creates that brand image, because this helps you to associate with that brand element. ये सारा कुछ आपका वो एप्पल का जो कटा हुआ एप्पल का इमेज है उसके साथ एसोसिएट कर रहे हो आप, and then overall it gives a very very positive image. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Identifying, establishing brand positioning, basic concept target. See, so brand positioning, ये हम लोग जानते हैं what is brand positioning. Act of designing the company's offer and image so that it occupies a distinct and valued place in the target consumer's mind. So हम लोग पहले क्या बोलते थे, last time जब brand positioning सीखे थे हम लोगों ने यूज किया था, brand positioning creates a unique perception in the minds of consumers. So distinct perception, distinct place, distinct perception in the minds of consumers. Brand positioning ये create करता है. Finding the proper location in the minds of the consumers or market segments. So आपका जो target audience है, उस टारगेट ऑडियंस के माइंड में सही जगह बैठाना अपने ब्रांड का, यूनिक जगह बैठाना, which is not there in competition. ठीक है? Allows consumers to think about a product or service in the right perspective. क्योंकि आप इतना strong perception create कर रहे हो against your competition that you will now get a right perspective about your product or service. That's what positioning is all about. That unique positioning against your competition. Okay. Correct. Target market. Yes. I'm not going to discuss this. We know what target market is. The whole segmentation जब कर लेते हैं, we find out the most identifiable market for us.
Yes, sir.
Huh? Remember we spoke about the identifiability. It should be large enough to give you big volume, big revenues, big profits, big growth possibilities. Accessible. You should be able to access that market. Make your product available there, and your consumers should be responsive there. Their choices and preference should match your offerings.
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so I'm not going to spend time on target market, but what about putting? Okay. Now, when you decide on a target market, when you make a consumer segmentation, वो क्या क्या करते हैं? Behaviors देखते हैं, demographic देखते हैं, psychographic. We have all learned about this, right? बहुत बार पढ़े. Remember ना, Akshita?
Yes, sir. Psychology.
Right? Psychographic,
Yes,
geography.
sir. Yes, sir.
Right? Habits, hobbies, interests, values, trends,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
traits, attitudes, activities, lifestyles, behaviors are basically yours. How much is the consumer aware of your product, user status, user rate, usage occasions, how frequently they use it, okay, brand loyalty, what are the benefits that they expect out of the product. These are all behaviors. Okay. And demographic, of course, age, sex, anything to do with the population, okay, income, household size, so on and so forth. And business to business segmentation कैसे करते हैं? The nature of goods that the industry manufactures, the kind of goods, where those goods are used, types of buy, how do they buy? Types of buy means how do they buy? Do they buy through tender? Do they buy through wholesale? Do they buy through distribution? Or what? Buying
Yes, sir.
buying condition, purchase location, कहाँ से purchase करते हैं? Wholesale से करते हैं, distributor से करते हैं, कहाँ से करते हैं? Who buys? Is there a purchase manager, or is the engineer who buys it, or is the technical manager who buys it? Or depending on all these things, you segment the business to industry market, business to business market. Okay. Demographics. Demographic, what is SIC code? SIC code is product category code. Okay. Something like, steel is a product category, water is a product category. Suppose, technological software has a different product. Each product category has a code. Okay. Number of employees कितने हैं, demographic, number of production workers कितने हैं, annual sales volume कितना है, number of establishments, units कितने हैं उस industry और उस company में. So these are all different, जैसे हम लोग consumer को divide करते हैं segmentation, वैसे ही industry को divide करते हैं. ठीक है. Nature of competition, a competition analysis considers an array of factors, resources, capabilities, and likely intentions of various other firms. Okay. दूसरे फर्म्स, दूसरे कंपटीटर्स के पास रिसोर्सेज क्या है, उनके मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, उनके प्रोडक्शन, उनके सेलिंग कैपेबिलिटीज क्या है, ठीक है, एंड देयर इंटेंशंस, व्हाट आर देयर गोल्स, ठीक है, व्हाट आर देयर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. दीस आर ऑल कंपटीशंस. ओके, कैन यू हियर मी?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The competitive analysis helps marketers to choose markets for their own products or services. Okay, so basically, when a marketer does an analysis of the competitors, okay, then they choose where मुझे किस market में घुसना है, किसमें घुसना नहीं. Okay, when choosing a market, marketers must consider indirect competition and multiple frames references. What does that mean? Indirect competition is sometimes even substitutes. Okay, even substitutes. Indirect competition also means that competition of suppliers, competition of distributors. Okay, same market, there are not many distributors, so वहाँ पर distribution का competition होगा ना. Not only product competition, distribution competition. Same market, your same place where you are going to manufacture, your competition is also manufactured. मेरे पास supplier सिर्फ दो ही है या एक ही है, उसका भी competition होता है ना. So we need to consider all that into competition. Okay? And of course, multiple frames of reference, different other things in that. Okay? Not only suppliers, distributors, vendors. Okay? There are other things also which we need to consider when we are analyzing competition. Point of parity and point of difference. ये भी हम लोग पढ़ चुके हैं. Okay? Only thing we are going to learn it a little more details. So what is point of parity? Basically similarity with the competition. So हमें always सोचना चाहिए, पहला चीज सोचना चाहिए कि हमारे साथ कंपटीशन का डिफरेंसेस क्या है. On that basis only मैं compete कर पाऊँ. लेकिन point of parity association is also important. क्योंकि point of parity अगर मैं नहीं देखूंगा, then I will not get into that category itself. I will not, in the consumer's mind, मैं उस category के अंदर में आ ही नहीं पाऊंगा. Suppose I am a manufacturer of automobiles. Once Okay. So suppose I want to manufacture automobile, right? Now, if I do not have a point of parity between a four-wheeler, I mean, a Maruti car and a Mahindra car or a Tata car, how will my consumers come to know that I belong to a four-wheeler category? Automobile also means two-wheeler. Automobiles also means trucks and buses.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So first point is that if I need to be in that competition, I need to first get into that category. My consumer should consider me into that category. And for that, my point of parity is important. Correct. Suppose I talk about sunflower oil, soya bean oil, mustard oil, and so many oils in the market for cooking. If I don't look at the point of parity that all these are cooking oils, I am manufacturing sunflower oil and I do not consider that my product is a cooking oil, which is a point of parity with my consumer, my competition. How will Akshita's mummy know that I am a cooking oil? I am in that category. Will she ever choose me as a cooking oil?
No, sir.
No,
So,
right?
but
So,
मैंने ऐसा कुछ read किया था that जो parachute oil है, that उनका जो coconut oil, वो उन्होंने शायद क्या किया था, शायद I guess normal use का oil का कुछ categories होता है, कुछ tax के according. तो उन्होंने टैक्स के हिसाब से बचाया था, क्योंकि उन्होंने बोला था ये सब वो कुकिंग ऑयल नहीं है, ऐसे कुछ करके मैंने उनके बारे में पढ़ा था. तो सर हमारा टैक्स के स्लैब्स भी अलग होते हैं अगर हम कैटेगरीज देखते हैं तो.
होते यस 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 होते. और आज के जीएसटी के जमाने में तो और ज्यादा होता है. ठीक है. सो एंड दैट्स वेरी रिस्की. आप टैक्स बचाने के लिए जाओ और कंज्यूमर के दिमाग में घुस जाए कि आप कुकिंग ऑयल नहीं हो, ठीक है, या आप हेयर ऑयल नहीं हो, आप हेयर ऑयल कैटेगरी में प्ले करना चाहते हो एंड you do not want to say that you are on hair oil, then consumers will not regard you as a hair oil. So उस competition से आप बाहर हो जाओ. And then comes the point of difference. Point of difference is more important because if you do not have point of difference, you will be a me too product. आज फॉर्च्यून का सनफ्लावर ऑयल एंड पॉसिबली कारगिल का सनफ्लावर ऑयल, ठीक है, if they do not have a point of difference, then consumers के लिए दोनों me too है. It only fights on price, not quality anymore. They become commodities. Correct. So point of difference, point of parity, both are important. Correct. Okay. So examples of negatively correlated attributes, and this is very interesting. These are things called negatively correlated attributes. These are few of them. Low price versus high quality. ठीक है. आप कभी भी माने, if you say that I am giving you a high quality at a low price, ठीक है, people may not believe it, right? I give you taste also, I give you low calorie also. People may not believe it. It's a negatively correlated attribute. Efficacious versus mild. I give you a mild oil, however, it's very efficient. I give you a mild medicine, but it's very efficient.
Yes, sir.
I give you a powerful car, but it's very safe. It can be. If it is there, then it's one of the best. Okay. I give you a strong perfume, or I give you a strong oil, however, it's refined.
Yes.
I give you variety, however, it's simple. It's not complex. You don't understand this negatively correlated attributes?
Yes, sir.
If you can actually give this, you are actually giving a very, very strong message and a very, very strong selling point to a consumer. If you can really give a food product which is low calorie but a high taste, consumers will love to buy it. Yes. And that's why here point of difference and point of parity sometimes doesn't work that way, or it works very strongly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because suppose you have two food products, one is high in taste but high in calories, and one is high in taste but low in calories. Which one would you prefer? You would prefer the second one, right? High in taste and low in calories.
Yes, sir.
So that's what a point of difference does, and a point of parity does together. Both are high in taste. One low in calorie, one high in calorie. Both are low in price. One high in quality, one low in quality. Both are
Yes.
nutritious. One good in taste, one not good in taste. Correct. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Interesting, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Positioning guidelines, defining and communicating the competitive frame of reference. Okay. I have to define my competitive frame of reference. My automobile industry में four wheelers में हूँ in the sedan car segment. This is my competitive frame of reference. Okay. I am in an automobile segment, in the four-wheeler segment, I'm in the automobile category, in the four-wheeler category, in a hatchback segment. I am a two-wheeler. I'm in the two-wheeler segment, which in the motorbike 100cc. So that's the competitive reference. Now, of course, 350cc के साथ compete नहीं करूँगा. Choosing the point of difference. So point of difference can be for two-wheeler, high fuel efficient. My vehicle goes 100 kilometers in a liter. Maruti says I'm a high fuel efficient car. Correct. Establishing point of parity and point of difference. I am a two-wheeler. I am a two-wheeler scooter. This is my point of parity with other two-wheeler scooters. I am a 100cc two-wheeler scooter. That's my point of parity with all the 100cc two-wheeler scooters. And I'm a 100cc two-wheeler scooter which has 100 kilometers, which goes 100 kilometers per liter. That is the point of difference. Correct.
Yes.
And second, very important, is straddle positions. Straddle positions is which is in between that point of parity and point of difference. This is the position which is very, very unique, in between that point of parity and point of difference. How does it happen? Okay, so let's give you an example. I was taking out a few examples for you. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So when BMW entered the market, gave a steep competition to other luxurious cars because at that time, all the luxury cars focused on luxury and overlooked the performance factor. BMW came with the dual positioning as luxurious car, point of parity. All the cars were luxurious, so he was luxurious, point of parity, as well as performance, point of difference. Okay. So he said, BMW said, I don't only give luxury, I also give great performance. And they said the ultimate driving machine. So this is straddle positioning. Okay, so you're placing yourself in between point of parity and point of difference. Okay, Scorpio. When this car came, they also said
giving the customer like another reason to buy that product.
Exactly, another reason to buy that product. Correct.
Yes.
In Scorpio, they said luxury, so they were in the luxury segment. That was the point of parity. And adventure. Scorpio said my point of difference is I'm an adventure car. That's another reason to buy. So this is a strategy position. Somewhere, some point of parity, some point of difference. Okay. At this point,
और ज़्यादा focused हो गया ना audience तो और focused audience हो गई.
Exactly. And ये जो point of parity है is not to bring them into that segment. This point of parity is actually one of the attributes. Domino's Pizza. Product attributes as well as desirable benefits. So the product attributes means providing the fresh pizza. Everybody says we provide fresh pizza. That's the POP. There's another point of parity here that they are in the pizza market. We are pizzas. I am a pizza. You are also a pizza. That's a point of parity. I am a fresh pizza. You are also a fresh pizza. However, the point of difference is are the home we deliver at home in 30 minutes. That's the point of difference. And that's the strategy positioning. I am positioning myself as a POP, as a POD. Correct?
Yes.
So,
yes.
So this is the positioning, point of parity and plus point of difference in between somewhere. Correct? Got it?
Yes, sir.
Coming back to this. Okay, updating positioning over time, developing a good positioning. So over the time, positioning keeps changing. depending on the market environment, depending on competition, depending on some uniqueness that has come over time. Okay, something like, I'll give a very, very unique example which I give to everybody in every class. Starbucks.
iPhone का भी हो सकता है ना सर?
iPhone का भी हो सकता है. So iPhone का भी हो सकता है. iPhone currently is basically, they position themselves as the most advanced change in technology.
Yes sir. Every year वो लोग इतने सारे change 3 phones.
Right. Something tomorrow it can so happen that there are other companies who are coming with the same kind of an attribute. They have to change their position. Correct. Now let me give you a very unique example. Starbucks, when they came into this world 70 years back, their positioning was around coffee. Their positioning was around, they were the first out of home QSR restaurant. ठीक है, basically जैसे आज मैकडोनल्ड्स हो गया, KFC हो गया, डोमिनोज हो गया, पिज़्ज़ा हट हो गया, कैफे कॉफी डे हो गया, लेवाजा, बारिस्टा सब हो गया. उस जमाने में the first out of home place to have coffee, out of office place to have coffee or meet friends. So they used to position themselves as the third place to meet. ठीक है, because people never thought कि घर से बाहर या ऑफिस के बाहर कहीं पर जाके हम लोग मीट करके कुछ we can spend time. So that was the position. Slowly, धीरे-धीरे बहुत सारे competition हो गए. Everybody was saying that come and meet me, your friend here, etc., etc., etc. Slowly, they changed their positioning, and they came to a time when they started saying the best coffee on earth.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what is the need of positioning, change of positioning over time. Okay. Developing a good positioning is very important. So defining and communicating company framework, communicating category benefits, जैसे हम लोग ने बोला अभी, marketing has used product benefits to announce category membership. So point of parity होगा, that ensures category membership. I am in the two-wheeler scooter segment, 100cc scooter segment. That's my category membership. I am in that category. Okay, that's the POP required. Exemplars, well-known networthy brands in a category can also be used as exemplars to specify a brand's category membership. So, in हम लोग well-known brand, Activa is the most well-known two-wheeler automated two-wheeler brand, right? सबके मुंह में Activa, Honda Activa, because that was the first automatic scooter on the road. Yes. So when you want to come into that category, you're bringing another automatic scooter. आज के दिन में बहुत सारे आ गए, Yamaha आ गया, Suzuki आ गया, सब लोग आ गए, ठीक है, Bajaj आ गया. Everybody is coming to that two-wheeler scooty segment, automatic scooty segment, right? So Activa is that category. Activa has made that category. So you say that I am in that Activa category. I am in that scooty category, which is the 50 to 75cc category. Scooty एक brand आया था ना, वहीं से scooty नाम शुरू हुआ.
Yes, sir.
Right? Women or female would more use a scooty. ठीक है, male would more use Activa in those days. ठीक है, आज के दिन में scooty has become a category which is lesser than 100cc, and Activa has become a category. Both are automatic. So automatic scooters, two-wheelers are that category. So you become a member of that automatic scooter category. And product descriptors. Okay, so communicating the competitive frame of reference. So competitive frame of reference is पहले तो आपको इस category membership पे आना है. And then product descriptions that follow a brand name is often a very compact means of conveying category origin. ठीक है, कि मैं two-wheeler हूँ, automatic two-wheeler हूँ in the 100cc segment. So that's my product description. These two together, the exemplar and the product descriptor and the category membership, all three together communicates that frame of reference, competitive frame of reference, competitive frame of reference. Correct? Did you get it? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Any confusion till here? इतना समझ लिए तो आपने ब्रांडिंग का बहुत ही समझ लिया.
Yes.
Choosing point of difference, you don't need to learn anymore. If you have to choose point of difference, your desirability, what attributes of benefits can serve as point of difference, आपका consumer को, आपका customer को, ठीक है, किस चीज से मतलब है, उसका desirability, कि customer क्या desire करता है, what are the benefits, what are the advantages, what are the features that the customer desires.
Yes.
Okay, what are you delivering, What are you giving, and what is the difference between you and your company on these things? Your features, advantages, benefits. A brand must offer a compelling and credible reason for choosing it over other options. Pehla, that brand should be desired by the customer. Akshita should like that lipstick brand, desire that lipstick. मैं Maybelline खरीदना चाहता हूँ. That's my desirability first.
Yes, sir.
Then Maybelline should be delivering what I need.
Yes.
The features, advantages, benefit that I need. Maybelline should deliver that. And thirdly, Maybelline should be different to Lakme or LA Team. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Those that from there arises the point of difference. Establishing point of parity and point of difference, same thing that we discussed. Okay, the key of branding success is to establish both point of parity and point of difference. At times, an inverse relationship between POP and POD may exist in the minds of consumers. Approach to address the problem of negativity. अभी हम लोग ने negatively related POP PODs पढ़ा, right? थोड़ी देर पहले पढ़ा ना? Low price, high quality, powerful versus safe, right?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, strategy position भी पढ़ लिया.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Remember something in
Yes.
between POP and POD.
Yes, sir.
Updating position over time, क्यों वो भी मैंने आपको समझाया. Generally, positioning should be fundamentally changed very infrequently. कम change करना चाहिए, लेकिन change करना चाहिए. And
Yes.
only when circumstances significantly reduce the effectiveness of existing POPs and PODs, then only you do it. आपका current POP and POD जब और effective नहीं हो रहा है, because competition has become more and they have become more aggressive and they have started giving more PODs, okay, then you have to change your position.
Yes, sir.
Yet positioning will evolve to better reflect market opportunities or challenges. Okay, positioning क्या करेगा? It should be customer centric. It should
Yes,
be
sir.
competitor centric. Customer centric will tell you about the opportunities in the market. Competition centric will tell you about the challenges in the market. Accordingly, आप अपना positioning बनाओ, ताकि I can create a unique perception in the mind of consumers against my competition.
So like McDonald's जैसे initially वो deliver नहीं करता था, फिर उसके बाद उसने deliver करना start किया.
Absolutely.
उनके मेन्यू में काफी कम मतलब varieties थी इंडियन मेन्यू में, तो उन्होंने वो ऐड करी. Then अभी उन्होंने they have a meal जो 100 rupees से start हो रहा है.
Exactly. I was just coming to that. So McDonald's ने अपना पूरा positioning ही change किया. It's no more a burger company.
Yes, sir.
Right? They talk about the meal now in their positioning.
Yes, sir.
Correct, because they had started fighting not only with burger companies, they have started fighting with pizza. They have, I mean, pizza companies. They have started fighting with fried chicken companies, and so on. All QSR companies.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, जो out of home quick service restaurants है, all of them के साथ fight कर रहा है. ठीक है. आज you don't believe, I don't know whether you get it there in Varanasi or not. या नोएडा में. Of course मिलना चाहिए. Domino's पिज्जा हट के साथ मारपीट करते करते इस जगह पे भी पहुंच गया है. They have made a pizza hut. इतना इस जगह पे पहुंच गया. They have recently I have tasted a pizza which is called Momo Mia. Momos डाल दिया उसके अंदर. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
So they wanted to create that product as a POD with Domino's. Point of difference रखना है, एक अच्छा सा attribute देना है, तो उसको कि local taste, local flavor. ठीक है.
Yes, sir.
So they are no more talking about, you know, a global company. They are not talking about we are pizza. We make local products. We make local flavors. We make local tastes. Okay. Laddering, deepening the meaning of brand to permit further expansion, often useful to explore underlying consumer motivations. Okay. So basically what happens is, आप जो अपना brand है, suppose मैं मैगी निकाल, ठीक है, मैं मैगी ब्रांड से खुश था, then मैंने slowly देखा कि what is the consumer motivation. Consumer, you know, wants to have sauces. Consumer wants to have flavors and seasonings, which are somewhat connected with Maggi, because Maggi में seasonings है. Maggi में जब पानी देते हैं उसमें सूप जैसा भी बनता है. Maggi में लोग sauces use करते हैं. So these are all underlying consumer motivations. So with the brand, I permit further expansion now. That's called lateral. मैं और 4 मैगी के ब्रांड.
Yes, sir.
That's called lateral. Okay. And reacting, responding to competitive actions that threaten existing positioning. Okay. So when competition is becoming aggressive and they are coming up with a new positioning, or they are threatening this existing positioning of my brand, then I start reacting. Competitive actions are often directed at eliminating point of difference. So competition क्या करता है? मेरे साथ जब point of difference उसका है, and I am selling well, ठीक है? Then what they do is they try to eliminate that point of difference. They try to match me to make that point of parity. Correct?
Yes, sir.
उस category में आने के लिए they want to match me. So आज suppose McDonald's has come up with a meal. Okay, and no other Burger King possibly doesn't have that meal. And they suddenly see that competition has really become aggressive. McDonald's really become aggressive. The sales have gone up and they are really doing wonderful. So what they want to do is, ये जो point of difference McDonald's ने create किया, they want to eliminate that. They want to come out with a meal and make that a point of parity. That's reacting. Or to strengthen or establish new point of difference. और नहीं तो आप पिज्जा हट जैसा करो, मोमो मिया निकाल, to strengthen its own point of difference. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So हम लोग positioning में over the time क्यों करते हैं? पहला तो है कि we do because जब थक जाते हैं positioning से when my competition is, you know, the POP and POD मेरे पास जो था, that's not becoming more effective, इसलिए change करते हैं.
टारगेट ऑडियंस मतलब हमारी जो मार्केट है वो भी थोड़ा सा डेविएट करने के लिए करते हैं.
करना शुरू हो जाता है because people's consumers choices change, consumers preferences change, consumers needs and wants change, and accordingly they try to evolve as with competitors. ठीक है? Okay, and when consumers change, you grab that opportunity by changing your position. When consumers needs, wants, desires change, you change yourself, your positioning to grab that opportunity and also to fight, fight the challenges in the market. There is competition.
Yes.
Okay. So POP and POD may be refined, added, or dropped as situation. You can add POPs, you can add PODs, you can drop them as situation changes. Okay. But more importantly is how do you reflect in the market opportunities? That's the consumers. Okay, opportunities come from consumers, right? Or challenges from competitors. So when your consumers desire differently, they need differently, they want differently, okay, and that is the time when you change your, because you need to offer them, when their preferences are changing, their choices are changing, you can't sit tight, na? After then the consumers will go away from you. You have to match their offer, match their changes, match their preferences, match their choices, match their needs, desirability, and preference and wants by giving new offerings and by changing, of course, the position. Because if you do not change the positioning, you are going to be similar to your competition. And that's not what is positioning. Positioning is creating a unique perception in the mind of consumers, right? And finally, of course, laddering, making different products from the same, expanding your brand. Okay. By understanding the consumer motivations, underlying consumer motivations around that. And of course, reacting. Developing a good positioning has a foot in present and a foot in the future. Okay. So no, it cannot forget the present, neither it can ignore the future. Needs to be somewhat aspirational so that brand has room to grow and improve. एक ambition रहना चाहिए, एक objective, एक goal रहना चाहिए to grow. You can improve. Okay, that's what positioning, good positioning is. That's why I also change positioning according to the change. Yeah, I'm futuristic. I want to grow, I want to improve. That's why I will change positioning. Okay. Is careful to identify all relevant points of value. Okay, don't overlook or ignore crucial areas where the brand is potentially disadvantaged. ठीक है, मैं पॉइंट्स ऑफ पैरिटी को बड़े ध्यान से निकालूंगा मेरे कंपटीशन, and I will not overlook or ignore any one of them which are very crucial. if everybody is looking at Activa as a scooter because that's a 100cc or 125cc automatic gear two-wheeler, and I also have the same thing, and people are ignoring me, people are not buying my product because I am a Me Too. That's my strongest point of parity, and still I am a Me Too, and people would prefer Activa because it's a tested, tried brand, then I need to change now. Because I am potentially disadvantaged with that point of parity. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Should reflect the consumer's point of view in terms of benefits that consumers derive from the brand. A good positioning should reflect the consumer's point of view. You should look at consumers. You should be consumer-centric, customer-centric when you are positioning your product. It should match the consumer's points of view. It should match the consumer's expectations, consumer choices, consumer preferences. Okay. Recognizes that a duality exists in the positioning of a brand. Rational and emotional component. Okay. So there's good positioning always has a rational and emotional component. Rational because it should be as per requirement of a consumer, and it also should be given emotional component. It also should have an emotional component to it, which may not be rational, but it's emotional. Because emotional, there should basically what it says is that good positioning should have a heart in it and have a mind in it, both.
Yes, sir.
Consumer should not only look at it from the functional point of view. Okay. The Maggi is just good in taste. Okay. It should have an emotional point of view also. It's a friend in need, something like that. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Defining a brand mantra quickly. So brand mantra may span multiple product categories and may have multiple distinct yet related positionings. Okay. As brand evolves and expand across categories, marketeers will want to craft a brand mantra that reflects the essential heart and soul of the brand. Brand mantra is basically the tagline, the theme around the brand. Okay. The theme around the brand.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I would give you a small task today. Adha ghanta nikalo, go into the internet and find out brand mantras of some of the great brands like maybe Adidas or maybe Nike or maybe Samsung or Apple or Nestle's Nescafe or Polo, whatever. Okay. You'll find so interesting good taglines. Okay. And which may span around multiple product categories also. So Nike is not only Nike shoes. Okay. Nike is Nike shoes plus Nike sports accessories also, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so similarly, maybe if you talk about Nescafe, Nescafe is not only a coffee now. Nescafe is a coffee and a shake and a lot of things. Okay, so go and find it out, and you'll find brand mantras which are very taglines, which are very, very interesting. They revolve around the theme. Okay, marketers will want to craft a brand mantra that reflects the essential heart and soul of the brand. It revolves around that brand. Okay, it gives a theme, it talks about the theme of that brand, it talks about the heart of that brand and soul of the brand. Okay. It will be a very interesting. Short 3 to 5 word phrases, not more than. Captures the irrefutable essence or spirit of the brand. This is the word, spirit of the brand.
Yes, sir.
Aj Nescafe, if you see Nescafe advertisements, most of it says refreshing.
Yes, sir.
Right. So that's the theme of the brand. And all the taglines, all the brand and the brand mantra revolves around that. Correct.
This is Philips की innovations and you है.
Yeah, innovations and you है. बीच में और भी दो तीन अच्छे थे, ठीक है, जैसे.
Yes, sir. Because Philips के सारे products बहुत थोड़ा new technology based ही होते हैं, सब थोड़े से new.
Yeah. So find out. It will be interesting. It will be very, very interesting exercise that we will do. Provides guidance about what product to introduce under the brand. Similar theme के अंदर में और क्या product निकाल सकते हैं. What ad campaigns to run. Where and how the brand should be sold. Okay. So this gives a guidance. Brand mantra gives a guidance. It's basically a sort of a tagline, sort of theme line around the brand. Okay. And उस brand के अंदर में पूरा brand family आ जाए, लेकिन फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. That theme will remain instant. intact. Okay. Correct. Interesting.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, so आज हम लोग ने अच्छा सा बड़ा 2 चैप्टर खत्म कर लिया, and I think
Yes.
it was easy to understand for you also, right? Not
Yes.
very difficult, right? Chalo, great, wonderful. I won't stop you anymore. 9:10 हो गया, but I wanted to finish it actually. Okay, chalo, take care. Good night. See you
Yes.
tomorrow. Okay,
Yes.
bye bye.